1, 2, 1, 2, go. Hello, ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Hello, ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba.
Welcome to Tourism Talk. I'm Laura Oswald, Marketing Director at the Paducah Visitors Bureau. Today, we're on location and on campus at Paducah School of Art and Design. Join us today for a look inside the incredible new 2D and graphic design building. Paul Aho, Dean of Paducah School of Art and Design, is our guest today. Welcome, Paul.
My pleasure. Thanks for being here. This is going to be fun.
It is. Thank you so much for having us. This building is truly amazing, and I can't wait to give people a look around. And I figured that the gallery is a great place to start.
I think the gallery is a great place to start because, again, it helps to fulfill our mission with the community. It complements our programs, our educational programs, and provides an additional resource to the community that otherwise wouldn't exist without the larger embodiment of the building and what we've done with this historic structure.
Very good. Very well said.
Oh, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about this building and how it came to be. It was a big undertaking. It's a huge building. So tell us some of the specs and about its development.
So this is the final phase, the third phase of construction for Paducah School of Art and Design. We began in January of 2013. We opened a historic property to house our ceramics and small metals program. We followed that up with a built-for-purpose sculpture building, which opened in August of 2014. Both of those buildings are around 7,000 square feet each. They're beautifully equipped with fully provided studios and state-of-the-art spaces for our students and members of the community to access. And then this historic property is well over 100 years old, is about 32,000 square feet. So we have maybe 44,000 square feet total for our art school campus here on the edge of the historic Arts District in Lowertown.
Yes, and it's such an anchor and great addition to the Arts District. We're so excited about all that it will bring, not only to our local students, but also to visitors through other workshops and programming that you all will present. Tell us a bit about the vision for the art school and how this fits into that greater vision for our arts community.
Well, the school, of course, is seen as, it's a division of West Kentucky Community and Technical College. So, of course, among our primary missions is to provide transfer experiences, a 2-year education for students who either wish to enter the workforce, whether in the arts or other fields on campus, or those who would seek a transfer experience into a 4-year school. In our case, we would like to think that we do the best job possible of preparing these students for entry into leading institutions of art around the country.
Yes.
Beyond that, of course, we know that the city is deeply invested in the Lowertown Arts District. I think we're probably 14, 15 years into that project, and as I understand it, maybe $30 to $40 million of outside cash to reinvest in this historic district. So we see ourselves in large measure as fulfilling those two purposes, one of supporting the programs at the college and others in supporting the community's greater need to provide sustainability and add value to the decision to relocate for these artists who came here and put their money where their mouth was, and to again provide a resource for them that would help to attract others and keep those who are here. So we do a good job of that. We have maybe close to 40 Associate of Fine Art majors and maybe about 60 Associate of Applied Science majors. So these are traditional studio artists, or what we would otherwise traditionally think of graphic design or graphic arts, but today we think of it as visual communications and multimedia programs. So the one is a transfer program and the other is a technical program, which provides, again, employment opportunities for, or again, transfer opportunities for those who would look to go off elsewhere afterwards.
Wonderful. And we will look at some of those spaces within this building later, but that's a great summary of the value that this campus, this building provides. You know, it's an amazing structure, but to know what all is behind that and what all will be happening here that's a catalyst for the sustainability of our creative city. I know that this is a major point of our UNESCO Creative Cities designation, to have this center for education, for both traditional and non-traditional students. So,
Well, the building was gifted to us from the city in October of 2007. And we know that there were some obstacles to the opening of that with the recession that we experienced, but we were able, once we launched this, this final phase of construction was capitalized through a bond through the Commonwealth, something called Build Smart, that each of the 16 sister community colleges around the state had the opportunity to invest in a single capital project with a 25% match. So the community, as a display of support for this institution and the efforts of the art school and the vision of Dr. Veazey and former Mayor Paxton and others who were principals in seeing this, realized is that we raised that 25% in very, very short order.
yes, and what a great testament to the value that the community sees in this space. Well, I'm sure you've seen a great deal of community support and will continue to over the years, and we're really glad, like I said, to have you on Tourism Talk today and share this with even more locals and people watching around the world. Just to give an idea of how special this addition to the campus is and the completion of the PSAD campus, we're surrounded by amazing artwork right now of David Carson. And would you tell us a bit about this opening exhibition here at the 2D and Graphic Design Building?
Sure. So we opened the building in February of last year, but we had a grand opening celebration for that event in late March. And in conjunction with that opening, there were maybe 450 people from the community were here, so we were very pleased and very proud with the support that we saw from that. But we also had the opportunity to launch the opening of the Ford Gallery, which we're standing in the Bill Ford Gallery, with an exhibition of works by one of the world's leading graphic designers, whose name is, as you mentioned, David Carson. David is widely considered the most influential graphic designer of the era. He sort of revolutionized the face and the look of graphic design through early magazine publications. Those of my generation might remember Ray Gun magazine and Beach Culture magazine, and where he basically transformed the appearance of graphic design under the credo of, I think his most famous quip is to not confuse legibility with communication. So David has his detractors, of course, and anybody, to his mind, who isn't pushing the envelope far enough and isn't doing what they should be doing to make advances in their respective fields. So we're very pleased to have this. And David was agreeable enough. He came and did a lecture for us, and we had a nice event for that as well.
Absolutely. What a great way to begin this journey of the new building. And I'm excited to get into the classroom and show everyone that space as well. And be sure to check out Paducah School of Art and Design online to see about exhibitions like this as they come about. Where can people find PSAD online?
We have a website. It's Paducah School of Art and Design.org.
Wonderful.
Just like it sounds.
Wonderful. Well, check that out, and also be sure to check out www.paducah.travel for more Paducah Creative City information. And now we'll head on up to the classroom.
Beautiful. Thanks.
And now we're in the painting studio here at PSAD. Paul, tell us a bit about the creating that happens in this particular space.
Okay, well, as I mentioned earlier, this is the third phase of construction, and it supports all of our programs in 2 dimensions. So that would include painting, drawing, digital photography, graphic design, visual communications, and multimedia. So all of those activities take place here. We have the good fortune to have a state-of-the-art sound room as well, so we have a recording room in the building. And so there are both a mix of traditional studio practices and the more commercially based, what used to be called commercial art classes, where they find more favor with the young people's parents and that sort of thing, right? So, so this building supports those activities. So we have dedicated studios for all of those things. Maybe downstairs there are 3 state-of-the-art computer labs with 27-inch iMacs in each of them. So we've deeply invested in the technology as a nexus between the traditional fine arts and the contemporary practices that people would need for the workplace or to do work that's on the cutting edge of creativity.
Wonderful. So your usual typical student, what mix of classes are they taking?
Of course, well, they would take, we have an Associate of Fine Arts degree, and we have, again, the Associate of Applied Science degree, so the mix is slightly different. But in either case, the AFA program has a core of art classes that are essential, and then there's another core of studio electives. But beyond that, they're all required to take a body of general elective classes, which are designed to give them sort of general all-around education, to make them good citizens, to make them participants in society and the things that we would aspire in terms of providing education for our young people. Right?
Great. Well, I think seeing around all of the spaces in this building and in your other buildings on campus, it's amazing, and it makes me want to get in and take classes.
That's the sweetest thing I hear when we tour people through the building is people go, wow, I want to go back to school, you know, and I say, well, you can, you know, and guess what, you can, right? 'Cause it's all right here.
And that is the beauty of this. Our community has such a resource in this campus and the programming that is being offered. Where can people go to find out about how to register or be part of these classes?
They can come here and visit with our division assistant, or they can go to the campus and go to the Anderson Technical Building. That's probably the place for first-time students to go, and because it's been engineered to be like a one-stop shopping experience, so you can take care of your application, your financial aid, your testing, all of those things in a single building on campus. So that's very, very convenient, and again, that would provide the opportunity to get the best advising for a first-year student. Those who were simply looking for studio art experiences can come and sign up for here. And again, we have programs for senior learners as well that support their participation in classes here on campus, which is kind of an interesting mix to have traditional college students, younger people in their early 20s, late teens, early 20s, mixing it up into studios with people with full life experiences.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a value added right there.
Yeah.
I think that you all do such a great job with some of the programs that you have, art sales and other opportunities to provide these students the tools and opportunities and experiences that they need to be successful in the future, as you mentioned. Right. Talk a little bit about some of those supporting activities in addition to the classes.
Sure, I think chief amongst them would be our community education programs that happen through workforce development on campus, but we create them, we design them, and we staff them. So they are taught by the people that work for us or by leaders in the field from within the community. So their activities, the same sort of things that we teach in an academic program for 16 weeks, you might be able to do a shorter term, a 4 weekend, or 4 Wednesday nights or something to get a taste of that experience and to have a creative activity that fits perhaps a tighter schedule, right? Yeah. So there's that. And then, of course, as you mentioned, we do, on behalf of our students, we do a holiday art sale every year that was a success right from the beginning. The first time we did that was remarkable. And again, that just is another testimony to the support that we have from the community and our colleagues on campus. Beyond that, we are expanding with our entry into this new building. We'll be expanding our public programming, so we'll be doing, as we see the courtyard space, as we introduce the Kitchens Cafe later, that we'll be doing performing arts events and spoken word events and poetry readings and that sort of thing, and trying to find, again, some sort of bridge between the literary, the performative, and the visual arts.
Absolutely, and now culinary arts with the Kitchens Cafe, like
as well,
you
of course.
mentioned.
Yeah.
It's great to see the creative arts so widely represented in one space right here in our arts district.
Well, that's kind of the beauty of it, as well as that it's finally allowed us to have the visual communications program in the same physical space as the fine arts students. And again, so that those, again, my hope, and I know that those who teach there have the same aspirations, that they begin to see themselves more in the context of the arts and less in terms of the context of commerce, right?
Yeah.
Right, so that they can do the most creative work and expand their horizons and find the best jobs possible.
Absolutely, that's wonderful. As far as, we're in the 2D and graphic design building now, so we have painting, drawing, photography, graphic design, like you mentioned. The other buildings on campus, what sorts of classes are happening there in those spaces?
So Essentially, we teach an introduction and an intermediate class in each of the disciplines in the studio arts. So we have an introduction to jewelry and metalsmithing. We have an intermediate jewelry and metalsmithing. The same would be true for ceramics and photography. But we also have directed study classes where students can they wouldn't necessarily be repeating the 4-credit class, but they can come back and avail themselves of our resources. They can use the studios, enjoy the benefits of working side by side with other artists, and particularly the benefits of working with somebody who has the skills and the training to teach them how to do the things that they're desiring to learn, right? And essentially anybody can, quote, learn to be an artist, but going to school and having that sort of overview and that mentorship streamlines that process considerably. So you're taking a lot of years out of what it takes to go from point A to point B. So that would be my advocacy for people who are looking to simply pick up skill sets or to enjoy themselves and some sort of creative activity with others.
Absolutely, and I think that people can look at these spaces and see, you know, no matter what that creative interest is, it is represented here in this school and in the programming that you all are offering.
Well, it feels like a serious institution.
Yes.
And it feels like a creative place, and those are beautiful things. So as we walk through the building, we're going to see that the design team, the architects, Ross Tarrant and company, did a really great job of integrating the old and the new, and the aesthetic of the sort of charm of this historic building with the clean aesthetic of the needs for security and soundproofing and the things that are mechanical in terms of designing spaces. And that we went to great pains to keep as much of that patina of time as is possible, so that the building feels like a big wow, like you walk in and go, wow, this is a very cool building. And then that again engenders a sense of creativity as well.
Absolutely, and it seems that that's a pretty typical response when people see the building.
Yeah. I mean, people come in from all over the country and say, well, we had high expectations, but never expected to see this here in this building in Paducah.
Yeah, and I think that speaking from the Visitors Bureau perspective, this building really illustrates and embodies so much of the character of the destination, both the historic preservation and the continued evolution of creativity and creative spirit, and fostering that within the community and for people that are visiting us.
So yeah, we see ourselves as a piece of a larger puzzle that would include other cultural amenities. There certainly are no shortage of them in Paducah, but the building's historic properties are a draw for some. The Master Artist Workshop programs that we do in the summer months are a draw for others. So we do programs with artists from outside of the region, bring in those artists and attract students to come in for study with them. And again, all in support of the mission of developing a cultural and historic district that is a benefit for the community and helps to drive the economic engines that make Paducah a desirable place to live.
Wonderful. And speaking of the Master Artist Workshop series, when did that begin, and what media does that entail?
We're in our third summer, and we have focused in the past. We probably will begin, as we more fully occupy this building, we'll begin to break those activities out into things that we teach here. But to date, we have taught workshops in jewelry and small metals, in the beautiful studios that we have at former Madison Hall, and in ceramics as well in the same facility.
Great, great. So those are great opportunities for our visitors and locals that have an interest to get in and really have an intensive experience.
Right, and we do programs for youth as well. So we've expanded our community education programs to serve young people as low as age 6. So we teach from 6 to 15 in a certain group, and then we have high school programs. We have Saturday intensives in each of the disciplines that we teach in our studios for like juniors and up and that sort of experience. And we do a pre-college summer art program that strives to emulate the college classroom experience for high school students in the summer months as well.
That's really wonderful to see at every age level, at every level of experience, you're offering something that people can connect to here and connect with their own creativity.
Right. Well, our goal is to get as many, I mean, we had such an outpouring of support from the community that our purpose and point at this moment in time is to have as many people benefit from this building as possible. So we've been doing lots of public events. You know, as I mentioned earlier, we had a big grand opening with about 450 people here, but we've also done creative activities with an event called Art in Bloom with the Paducah Garden Club, where we collaborated with Garden Club members to sort of cross-pollinate the two disciplines, no pun intended, I suppose. And so that was a big turnout. And then we're, I think, pleased and proud to have also hosted an event called Repurposed. And anyway, it was a support event for the Columbia Theater for the renovations to go to raise funds for that. And so we're very happy to be connecting to as many different civic groups or individuals as we can. Yeah.
Absolutely. You all are doing such a great job of doing that, and I don't want to leave the classroom without mentioning that you all do have in mind a fiber arts focus.
Yeah. So we'll be expanding our community education programs. It seems perfectly fitting that in the city, like Quilt City, USA, that we would embrace a fiber program. And again, another one of the things, and we'll get to it at a certain point here, is to bring people into the building. We have created the Kitchens Cafe, which has proven to be an enormous draw for the public. Under the leadership of Jesse Donaldson, that cafe has, we have a capacity of maybe 50 people a day inside and out in the courtyard, and it seems to me like it's full every time I visit there at the lunchtime.
Yeah, and another wonderful offering. So next we'll head down to the cafe and meet Jesse, see that great space. But first I just want to thank you again, Paul, for not only joining us today, but for all that you're doing for our community to help build this program and build this campus.
It's been great to have the opportunity to help. Yeah, there's been a lot of people working together to make this happen, and I think the community can be very, very proud of itself.
Absolutely. Well, we'd love to encourage everyone to stop by PSAD, check them out online, Paducah School of Art and Design.org, and then also to visit Paducah.travel for upcoming events and workshop information as well. So now we'll head down to the cafe. Thanks, Paul. Now we're here in the Kitchens Cafe with Chef Jesse Donaldson. Thank you for joining us, Jesse.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
If you would, tell us a bit about what your role is here at the cafe and kind of how you determine the menu and have gotten this thing going.
All right. Well, I'm the chef and food services supervisor. I work for the college as well. So I came up with the menu, worked through the recipes, all that before we opened. So right now our main menu stays the same, and we do different specials each week. Now as the seasons change, we will change our menu, incorporate seasonal items, produce, all of that. But for now we have a standard menu, which is available on kitchenscafe.com as well as our Facebook page. So,
great, and you all do have a great menu, some diverse offerings, and then the specials add another bit of excitement. What sorts of things are on the menu?
On our standard menu, we have everything from barbecue nachos to fish and chips. So we tried to switch it up. I wanted to play on a little bit of our regionality, incorporating the barbecue and such things. We do a smoked chicken salad, so it keeps that kind of in the barbecue family. And then also do some things that you can't necessarily get around here, like the fish and chips, Nashville hot chicken, we do that. So just trying to keep it a little eclectic and diverse. You can always find something you like.
Very good. Well, I know I've loved everything I've had here, so I would encourage people to come check it out. What hours are you all open? When are you serving?
We're open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then we're also available to cater outside of those hours. So any special events, parties, anything like that, we can cater here in the cafe or off-site, wherever the party should be.
Great. And we'll definitely want to invite people to see a bit of this space and see some of the great spaces for events here. And obviously this food adds a great addition to that, to any party. So definitely check out kitchenscafe.com for the menu. And also tell us a bit about how you're interfacing with the college and the culinary art program.
Well, I'm actually a graduate of the college, so I'm very proud to come back here and work for the college and be able to work with the students as much as possible. Because they are in school, typically during our working hours, they help us with those catering events, special events, as well as at the end of every program, students have to do co-ops or internships. So we've had one last semester, and next semester we should have another. And then they help, like I said, they come in and help with those special events. So usually if you come to an event here, you'll see them in their white jackets and chef pants. They're working.
Yes. great. It's great to see that WKCTC education come full circle like
Yes,
that.
yes.
For you to have gone through the program at the college, the Culinary Arts program, which is so wonderful.
Yes, yes.
And now be here starting this cafe as part of PSAD.
Yeah.
We're really excited and glad to have you here, and definitely also want to mention the opportunities not only for people to come eat and try Kitchens Cafe, but to come and be part of culinary workshops.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about
Yes,
that?
we have what's we call the a la carte culinary series, and they are weeknight classes, usually from 6 to 9 p.m. that are open to any skill level, most any age, just as long as they're old enough to hold a knife and be careful with it. But we offer everything from ethnic classes to basic skill classes, and those are also available on Workforce Solutions website. So that is another department of the college that handle all those community education classes for us. So yes.
Great. Well, I think that sounds like a great date night or a girls' night.
Yes, yes.
Certainly worth checking out. So we would encourage people to check out the college's websites, and also Paducah.travel. You can find upcoming creative experiences and workshops and other ways to experience our creative city. So thank you for joining us,
Absolutely.
Jessie.
Yes,
And thank you again to Paul Aho for being our guest today as well. Thanks for joining us on Tourism Talk. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba.